welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. It might sound a little different this week because I'm really phoning this one in from my home studio. But in particular, we're going to be looking at those of you who may have received new Echoes during this season and setting them up for the first time, or maybe setting them up for a family member. So we're going to pull from our archives some segments about how to set up a new wake word on your Echo. That's the name you call it by, how to change different voices to one that you really like, and then also we're going to pull from an archive about how to get that little jingle so you know when your Echo is listening to you. All that in this episode, but before we get to that, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again, and welcome back to the Echo Tips podcast. For our new listeners, I'd like to welcome you. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, serving those here in Southwest Virginia. And in particular, you'll find that our episodes are little nuggetized episodes where we highlight 5 to 15 minutes long, generally, new things you can do on your Echo. As mentioned earlier, this week we're going to be kind of giving you guys a heads up for those of you who got new Echoes for yourself or setting them up for family members, some basic things that you might want to do. And we're kind of pulling these segments from past episodes, 3 episodes in particular, episode 153, episode 223, and episode 206, where we're going to cover in sequential order here the wake word, how you can change that. We're going to talk about how you can change the voices on your Echo. That's the voice she's talking with. Different, is it an Australian voice, an American English voice? And we're also going to talk about how to turn on those jingles or sounds so that you know when the Echo's listening to you. The command has been received. So first off, let's go straight to the wake word. Oh, I should mention, if you have an Echo in hearing distance of me, you may want to shut its ears off because we do use the real A-Lady name in this podcast, and I don't want to trigger your Echoes at home. So just give you a second to do that, and you can even pause this podcast and come back. But okay, so hopefully I've given everybody enough time to do that. So let's real quickly go to a segment about how you would change your wake word. And we covered this when visiting a new wake word that was added, and that was Ziggy. So let's go to that clip. Alexa, change wake word.
Okay, you can choose from Amazon, Computer, Echo, or Ziggy. Which of these do you like?
Ziggy.
Okay, you can call me Ziggy on this device in a few seconds.
Woohoo! So now we have changed the wake word, and that is super, super cool. So we're going to give it a second to digest that as it downloads the new profile for the voice or whatever it's got to do. And then I'll just real quickly demonstrate that. Okay. Ziggy? What time is it?
The time is 8:41 a.m.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that little clip from our past archive about changing the wake word. Now let's say you want the voice to be changed as well. So let's go to a segment about how you can change the voice, or you could say the accent, and the different options you might have. Let's go to that segment now. Alexa, change your voice.
I have a few voices to choose from.
Uh-huh.
Let's start with 3 you might like. Here is the first one.
Okay.
There's an official league for rock, paper, scissors. If you want to play sometime, I'm game.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another.
Here is the second one.
Koalas have fingerprints, and they're very similar to a human's.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another.
Here is the third one.
The kiwi is the only bird in the world with nostrils on the tip of its beak.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another.
Here is the fourth one.
I hear there are more chickens in England than there are people. Blimey.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another.
Here is the fifth one.
Okay.
Around 100 million cups of tea are enjoyed in the UK every day.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another.
Here is the sixth one.
Moose, goose, toonie, loony. These are some of my favorite words with this voice.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another.
Here is the seventh one.
I may not speak all 22 Indian languages yet, but my English is 100% Indian.
Would you like to choose that one or hear another?
Hear another. I think it might be at the end here.
Here is the next one.
More than 600 movies are released each year in India.
Oh, no.
How's that for variety?
That's the last voice I have. Would you like to choose this one or start over?
Stop.
I will leave things as they are.
Okay, so hopefully now you have an idea of changing the wake word, changing the voice that she's speaking with. Now we're going to cover this final thing, which I find pretty helpful. Some people don't like it, but it's turning on what's called a request of sound. So that is when you say her name, like if you had changed her name to Ziggy and you say Ziggy, when you say that, usually a light that lights up. But if you couldn't see the light, or you were standing, or you're washing dishes, you're in the other room, how do you know she hears you? Well, you can turn this little jingle on so she kind of pipes up, and that gives you that added feedback that she's listening, and she can make a corresponding jingle when she stops. Let's see how you can turn that on in this clip with nothing but your voice. Let's go to that segment. Alexa, turn on start of request sound.
Okay. Start of request sound is now on.
Booyah! So we get a little auditory feedback. I like that. Thank you, Amazon. Kudos. Here's the other one. Alexa, turn on end of request sound.
Got it. Turning on end of request sound.
Okay, so there we go. Now that we have both of them, let's go back to our example. Alexa, tell me what time it is.
The time is 9:23 a.m.
All right, so there you go. It is just that simple. So the beauty of that, you might have heard, is you get that auditory note that she is now listening, and then when she stops processing, and you know, and she thinks you're done, and now she's going to run with it. That can be a really powerful telltale cue that maybe you're not in good hearing distance of the echo, or she's cutting you off, or maybe your spacing and timing in your commands are wrong. So just so useful. And also you're out of line of sight. You're over in the other room. You're giving a command. Super, super helpful. Okay. Well, in conclusion, hopefully those things will help you with setting up your new Echo or setting up one for a family member. We appreciate your listenership this week. If you'd like to reach out to us about thoughts or suggestions for future episodes, you can do so on Facebook or Twitter at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. Just say you had a comment about the Echo Tips podcast. You can also reach out with a thought or suggestion or even an audio recording of what you'd like to hear on the anchor.fm. Just look up Echo Tips. That's where our podcast is hosted. And by all means, if you do, feel free to give us a thumbs up on the podcast player of choice that you listen to this podcast, or tell a friend about it. We really appreciate that. Well, until next time, it's time to turn the ears on your Echo back on. Start practicing some of the many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem, ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.